Hi folks, how are you doing? From the second round of the Dortmund chess tournament in Germany, I chose the game between Fabiano Caruana, one of the top players in the world, with white pieces, and Ruslan Ponomariov, former world champion from Ukraine, with black pieces. I think it was a cool game, interesting one. The middle game is a very classical one with very interesting positional ideas, and I think the final combination of the game is a quite beautiful one. So let us see it. Caruana plays e4, and we reach the Petrov defense, or the Russian defense, knight f6. Fabiano plays, well, the principled way, d6. The knight goes back, and after black captures on e4, he plays knight c3. Probably the most common way, or at least nowadays, to fight against the Petrov, which is supposed to be the most aggressive and most interesting way. Black takes, white takes. Now we go into very well-known theoretical line with bishop e7, bishop e3. Okay, bishop f4 is another possible move, but bishop e3 is what Caruana plays. Knight c6, queen is developed, and usually the idea in this line is to castle long, and if black castles long, which is normally the case, white will try to use his pawns, his kingside pawns, and the bishop pair to create to launch a quick attack on black's kingside. Black, for the time being, is waiting. He plays bishop e6, and Caruana castles long. Queen d7 is what Ponomariov plays, still waiting, not defining his king's position, just developing pieces and, well, giving himself the possibility to either castle long or short. Prophylactic move here, and waiting for black to define his intentions. Bishop f6, black improves his piece. h3, h6, b3. I mean, both players are kind of waiting. b3 is also very kind of prophylactical. Now a6, still refusing to castle. Finally, Caruana plays g4, taking space on the king side and virtually denying Ponomariov the right to castle on king side, because this would run immediately into some attacks with g5, h4. So black castles long. Finally, bishop goes on g2 on the big diagonal. g5, trying to stop white from expanding on the king side. But white starts to play in a very classical way, centralizing pieces, playing towards the center, knight d4. And now this is giving himself the possibility to play f4. Knight takes, c takes. Now, if white had the opportunity, I think he would love to play c4, having complete control of the center. So Ponomariov plays d5, denying c4. But white has f4, trying to get more space here. G takes, bishop takes, h5, always counter-attacking here on the pawn's majority. g5, bishop must go back. Now rook from d to e1, centralizing a piece. As I said, this is very classical maneuvering position in the middle game, very positional moves. h4 is not allowing white to take more space here, but now the bishop goes in a central square, bishop e5. Rook protects the bishop, and the queen comes in to f4. Now, interesting move, queen d8, protecting the f6 square and arguing that if white goes here, bishop takes, pawn takes, this bishop in the end would be hanging, as the rook would take it after the pawn takes here. So I assume that bishop f1 is played with this idea, more or less, well, is also to improve the bishop. King b8, and the bishop goes to d3, relocating. Now bishop back to c8 If white takes on f7, black takes on g5 without much problems, I think, because black would get rid of his very weak pawn. Instead, Caruana plays prophylactic and improving moves slowly. King b2, bishop takes on e5, rook takes e5. Now g5 is covered, so f7 should be covered as well. There it goes, rook g7. a4, a5, moving around with the kings a little. And now queen d2, attacking a little bit here on a5. Here, Ponomariov goes back. I think b6, for instance, looks very natural, is also playable. But the point is that if white takes here, black can take on g5, as the queen is also defending g5. And I think white is not getting much here, because d5 is defended by the rook and the queen. So Caruana goes back to f4. King a7, rook to the center. And I mean, although it seems this is very drawish, white has a stable, little but stable advantage, because now he's in complete control of the e-file, and black has some difficulties to coordinate his rooks. White has more space. Now Ponomariov decides to take on h3, but now rook h1, and after bishop back, white takes on h4 back. Rooks are exchanged, and now b6, and some problems start for black. So far Ruslan has been playing really well, but b6 seems to be a mistake, because white queen is now getting through the position. Queen h6 attacking the rook. The rook goes back. Now queen c6 attacks d5. Bishop here, but this is getting worse for black. g6. The pawn cannot take on g6 because the bishop would be hanging. So rook g7 to defend the pawn. But now beautiful combination starts. White's pieces are very active here, and it is going to pay off. Pawn takes, bishop takes, and now a precious move, really beautiful one. Rook e7. Although the rook is hanging, well, it's pinning the bishop, it's attacking c7, so what to do? I mean, the rook is hanging, he's giving it for free, so Ponomariov takes, although I'm sure he has already seen what's going to happen. And now what do you do when you have sacrificed a piece? Well, you sacrifice a second one. Bishop a6. It's threatening checkmate in one move. And Ponomariov allows the checkmate, but taking the bishop. And now white has this other checkmate. Queen a8. Having sacrificed two pieces, Caruana gives checkmate and wins this game of the second round of the Sparkassen chess meeting in Germany in a beautiful fashion. Thanks for watching.